Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 8:07 p.m. on Saturday, May 18, 2024, and I want to talk about the Transformers 40th anniversary event I attended at the theater today. But I'm going to save that for last uh, because I also want to talk about The Fall Guy, which I recently saw in theaters, and as well cover all of the latest stuff that I got. So let's start with The Fall Guy. Now, I never saw the show, even though I wasn't aware of it back in the day, but I've been like aware that it existed. It's a show from the '80s. I think it ran 5 seasons. It starred Lee Majors and Heather Thomas and a few other people. It was about stunt people that were also bounty hunters. Now, I never saw the show, so I don't know how this worked, like what their cover was. Would they go to a town where a movie or TV show was being filmed and get hired on as a stunt person, and in the meantime, also try to capture a bad guy? I don't know. I don't know how it worked. And I wanted to watch an episode or two before I saw the movie, um, just to kind of get familiar with it, but it's not available on streaming. The first season only was released on DVD in North America. That's it. Um, for streaming on Amazon, it said season two. I went and it said, okay, season two is not available, but season one is, but only to buy. So I passed on it. I wasn't that desperate to see it, but I looked up the theme song on YouTube and I watched the season two theme. It didn't make me want to watch it anymore because the theme song is like a country western type song and it's sung by the series star Lee Majors. It doesn't scream action exactly. Now, here's the plot of the show as far as I can tell. Well, I mentioned the plot, but the characters, the main stunt person, the fall guy, if you will, played by Lee Majors. Character's name is um, something Severs, Cole Severs, Colton Severs. I don't know, something Severs, and he also his cousin is there along with him, a stuntman in training. I forget his name. Uh And that skipping through an episode guide, that seems to be the two characters that popped up the most in the descriptions. There is a third stunt person. Um, Her name is Jodie Banks, and she's played by Heather Thomas. But her name doesn't really show up in the descriptions of the episodes that much. So I'm wondering just how much that she was in it. IMDb says she was in every episode, but I wonder if her part was really as big as those of the two male leads. I don't know. And Heather Thomas got only like one shot of her in the opening theme song. Um, so I don't know. But anyway, so the movie takes a more comedic approach because I have a feeling that even though the show was kind of serious. It didn't take itself too seriously exactly, but the movie is straight up a comedy, pretty much. Okay, first off, they kept the character Colton Severs or whatever his name is. Um, they ditch the bounty hunter aspect entirely. So what is he's just a stunt person. Um, he suffers an accident. He suffers a fall on set one day, and he's out of the business for a while. And then he gets a job like parking cars or something. Um, but then he gets hired on as a stunt person on a new film, that's being directed by his ex, Jody Moreno. So it's not Jody Banks, it's Jody Moreno. And she's not a stunt person. She was a camera operator. Now she's getting her first shot directing a film. So that's a bit different. Oh, and the cousin characters did entirely. As well as, I think there was an additional person that handed out their missions. Because they're not doing the bounty hunter thing, that character doesn't exist either. But anyway, so he's working as a stunt person on Jody's new theatrical directorial debut. It's some kind of sci-fi film about a space cowboy. And so he's being the stunt double for the lead actor of the film, who apparently goes missing or just doesn't show up or something. So the producer of the film tries to get him to go and find this guy and bring him back to set. Now, without spoiling anything, the film is ridiculous, but it's funny, and everything works out in the end. Now, here's where things get a bit confusing. You would think this is a remake, but during a mid-credits scene, Lee Majors and Heather Thomas show up, and according to the credits, he's credited as the Fall Guy, and she's credited as Jody Banks. So they're playing their characters from the original film, from the original TV series. So this movie is in the same universe as the TV series, and it just so happens to have a new stunt man in this generation that has the same name as the character from the original series. Wacky. but it's a fun film. Go see it. I went to see it just for Emily Blunt, who plays Jody. But it's an enjoyable film, and Ryan Gosling is good as well. So you could say that this is Kenheimer, because Ryan Gosling was Ken, and Emily Blunt was Kitty Oppenheimer. Right? So it's not Barbenheimer anymore; it's Kenheimer. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, so that's my review of that. And now on to stuff that I got. I got this a few days ago at Walmart. It's an over-the-air digital TV converter, a DVR. And the reason I got this, I don't have live TV, but I don't have an antenna. But what I do have is a ton of old VHS tapes, still, dating back to the 80s and 90s. And my DVD recorder broke in 2015. I'm just now getting around to getting this, just to try it out, to see, like, instead of hooking up an antenna to this, if I could hook up a VCR and just record content from my VHS tapes digitally onto this, and then using USB, I could, like, maybe upload some stuff that I want to share to YouTube, like old commercials or something, and also like back stuff up on like data DVDs. But yeah, I still have to open it up, but I'm gonna try it out and see what happens. I hope one of the VCRs that I still have, at least one of them still works. We'll see. If not, I might have to hit a thrift store. But anyway, so that was that. Now today, after the Transformers event, first I went to Long John Silver's to eat. I don't like seafood, but I got some chicken. Then across the street from that, there was some used bookstore. So I thought, okay, I'm going to check it out. Now, they have a movie section as well. So I got this. It's The Stepfather. And it's the remake, not the original. It stars Dylan Walsh, Lucilla Ward, Penn Badgley, Amber Heard, and Sean Tenney. So there it is. And I look forward to watching it. It's the unrated director's cut. Ooh. I have no idea what the differences might be, but anyway. So yeah, it's from 2009, I guess. And apparently it was originally rated PG-13. So I don't know what is in here to make it unrated, but whatever. I also found this. It's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer novel. It's Spike and True pre-mades all in a row. So yeah, it's a hardcover. Yeah. So I like Buffy. Drew is nowhere near my favorite character. In fact, I actually find her pretty annoying on the show. A lot of people in the fandom love her, but I don't. But yeah, I got this. I figure maybe I'll read it someday just to check out more Buffy related content. I didn't want to really look at the comic books, at least the newer ones and the canon continuation because I heard it sucks. But anyway, so then I went to Barnes and Noble just to look around because there's no bookstore in my area. So I was just kind of looking around, and I got this. It's a Wicca magic book. It's like half off. It's only $10. So I saw this. I started flipping through it. I'm like, why not? Looks like a pretty short read too. All right. So then I went to the local mall. By the way, I had to drive to another county for this theatrical event. So I don't go there very often at all. Like at all. So I wanted to make the most of my trip. So I went to the local mall because it's the local mall there because it's been a while since I've been to that mall. And it was raining, so good excuse to go inside and wander around a bit. So first I went to FYE, which is still open. And I got The Danish Girl. Now, I asked that one of the employees came by while he saw me browsing movies and asked if he could help me. So I'm like, well, can you look stuff up if I give you film titles? He's like, yeah. So I gave him a bunch of film titles. This is the only one that they had. And I had to go and look for it, and everything was all off order and messed up. But I finally found it. So The Danish Girl on Blu-ray. So it stars. Jeez, it's dark in here now. Tim Hooper, or no, that's a film by Tim Hooper or Tom Hooper. Jeez, hang on. All right, so it stars Eddie Redmayne, Alicia Vikander. Oh, Laura Croft. Ben Whishaw, Sebastian Koch, Amber Heard, and Matthias Skonarts. I don't know. But I look forward to watching it. Yeah. Anyway, I also got another Buffy the Vampire Slayer t-shirt because you can never have too many. So this is like season 1 artwork. This is the back. And yeah. So I think this is season 1 artwork, but yeah, anyway, look cool. So yeah. Okay. So and then nearby there was this, I think it was like some kind of Asian store, and they gave away these. Well, they didn't give away the bags. I had to purchase the bags. They were like 20 cents. But it was like an Asian store that had a focus on like joy and just positivity, like a positive vibes type of store. It has snack section, and that's what drew me in. So like this, Choco Pie Cacao. It's a six. It's got 6 packs in it. So yeah, just some kind of chocolate pies. Got a Hello Kitty spicy noodle soup. So yeah. And let's see, blueberry milk double fillings mochi. So this looks like, yeah, Taiwan famous products, delicious fruit milk mochi. Enjoy the good taste. Okay. And finally, this from the cooler. I drank it after I bought it, but I wanted to save the can. It's Sailor Moon Crystal Ocean Bomb is what it's called. Palmetto flavor sparkling water. Now, this might look like a 12-ounce can, but it's actually 11.1 ounces. And 330 milliliters. So yeah, and apparently is imported into or by Canada, because there's a lot of French text on here. The ingredients are listed in French as well. So I don't know quite what's in it, but it tasted good. Now this was a Taiwanese drink. It's product of Taiwan. Oh, they got English ingredients too. Carbonated water, drinking water with liquid carbon dioxide, high fructose corn syrup, sugar, pomelo flavorings. I'm not sure what pomelo is, but anyway, citric acid, sodium citrate, and it's 90 calories for the can. So because it was Sailor Moon, I figured why not. They also had one with Chibiusa, Sailor Chibi Moon. I forget her flavor. They also had one with Sailor Venus, but it was like a mango flavor, and I don't care for mango. But I want to save the can just for this video to show you it. It's delicious. So yeah, that's that. All right. I got that. All right, so one more thing. The last store that I visited before I left the mall. Got a cute little thank you bag out of it. It So there's this was like a small like new age store, very narrow, not much floor space at all. But they had a shirt section. I saw this cute T-shirt. It's a cat in the woods in front of a crystal ball with a witch in it. So yeah, nice little witchy familiar shirt. And I love cats. So yeah. So I look forward to wearing my shirts. And so that's that. Now for the main event, the Transformers 40th anniversary theatrical show. So what this was, it's in select theaters. Tomorrow is the last day. If you still want to attend this, look up to see if a theater in your area is showing it. I saw it at noon today. I had ordered my ticket last month. But anyway, so what it is the first 4 episodes of the G1 cartoon series from 1984. But here's the thing. All right, so it started with a bunch of commercials, including 2 people talking about, hey, here's some Transformers merch that you could buy. There was a QR code shown for adults to scan to I guess, buy like robot stuff, like Transformer stuff. There was a commercial for season 2 of Transformers Earthspark, which I haven't seen. Commercial for the new comic books, because the Energon Universe comic books, which I haven't read. And, commercials for the toys. What else? Surprisingly, a soundtrack album of music from the original cartoon series. I'm gonna have to look into getting that. I like the music from the show. Anyway, after all of that, they had. I think they had a preview for Transformers 1. I think that's it. The new anime movie. I think that's what it was. Anyway, after all of that, we got the voice actors, kind of as an introduction. Because here's what I didn't read about, what I didn't expect. I thought there would be something involving the voice actors. I didn't know what it was. So I was just going to be like some kind of Q&A thing. But they had some of the original voice actors. Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, Dan, whatever, Bumblebee, Michael Bell, maybe some others. Greg Berger, I think. And they had some newer Transformers voice actors. And what they did, they were going to do like a table read of the first of the script from the first episode, Northern Meets the Eye Part 1. So you see that on the right side of the screen, and on the left side you see the actual footage of the first episode. And it doesn't fill up the entire screen because they've got like an animated like computer like dashboard or something surrounding the image, both images, to make it look like you're watching this on the Autobots computer monitors. So yeah. Also, they constantly have the episode title, like it said, like Transformers G1, S1, E01, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, and then, Part 2, Part 3, and Transport to Oblivion. That was constantly at the bottom of the screen, as well as the Transformers 40th anniversary logo. So it was kind of distracting. But anyway, so they basically redubbed the first episode, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, with some of the original voice actors reprising their roles, and other roles were taken up by either older voice actors that didn't voice those characters originally or newer voice actors. And they introduced themselves at the beginning. They said who they were going to be voicing and stuff like that. So the first episode, the theme song plays, and all the original music cues are there, as far as I can tell. Coco, sweetie, come here. Coco sometimes meows a lot. I think he's got like fleas and stuff, but I'm not able to find much on him. But I think something's bothering him. But anyway, so it uses the same music cues as far as I'm aware, but it's all the voice acting is redone. Now here's how that went. Optimus Prime sounded pretty much okay. Ironhide, pretty much okay, I guess. Frank Welker, he reprised his role as Megatron, but he doesn't sound like Megatron anymore. He sounds like an old man. And when he does his Soundwave voice, they highly processed his voice back in the original series to make it sound like very mechanical and monotone. They did not do this here. So if you're wondering what unprocessed Soundwave sounds like, and you can actually hear that on the original series in the season 1 episode Roll For It, because they actually forgot to apply the effect for one of his lines. But he basically just sounds like Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. Except for like 2 lines from the first episode where it is processed. So I think they just pulled those 2 particular lines from the original audio for whatever reason. I don't know. So that was kind of weird. Also, sometimes the new lines didn't quite match the lip movement. Sometimes it was a little bit before, a little bit after, Now, they didn't just, it's not like an uncut live performance. It is edited, obviously. I'll get to that. Overall, it was enjoyable for one episode. But it didn't help with the immersion at all, because I was, looking at the cartoon footage and I was looking at the voice actors, and I could tell, that's kind of weird. Like, that sounds like they probably didn't watch the first episode to refresh their memories of how the takes went, because some of their line reads are like very different than in the original episode. But anyway, so then they had the commercial bumpers in there too, but because they had a new narrator instead of Victor Caroli, I think his name is, he didn't say the Transformers will return after these messages, and we now return to Transformers. And the new narrator didn't record those lines, so the commercial bumpers just play with the music and nothing else. I'm not sure why they include the commercial bumpers in this anyway. But then they had the next episode preview, which the new narrator didn't narrate. And then they played the closing credits in full. I didn't pay attention to see if they retyped it to include the new voice cast or not. So I can't give any information about that, unfortunately. I didn't think to look until it was too late. Um, but yeah, played in full. And then we got like a blooper section from the new uh, table read, and they were messing around, they were flubbing lines, and they kind of just talked by each other a bit, and yeah, so that was pretty fun. Now after that, there's no new audio, there's no new material, so the image basically fills the screen vertically, almost, because it's still like surrounded by a computer panel dashboard type of thing, um, like on the left and right sides, as well as a tiny bit on top and bottom. But from then on, it's just episodes 2, 3, and 4 with the original audio intact. So we get the original voice actors and stuff like that. They do not play the opening theme anymore. Just go straight into episode 2. Um, they have the commercial bumpers in there, and Victor Caroli narrates them. Now I don't remember if they include the preview for episode 3. I mean, I guess they must have, but I don't recall specifically, because the first 3 episodes, it was 3-parters, so they had previews at the ends of parts 1 and 2. But anyway, the closing credits were sped up pretty fast, and they played a little bit of the closing theme song, just enough to cover the video, because the credits just kind of whooshed by really quick, and then the music kind of cut out, and they went straight into episode 3, which they treated the same way as episode 2. And then they jumped straight into episode 4, which they treated the same way, including the fast credits at the end. Yeah, so and then after episode 4 was done, they had a little in memoriam screen pop up that listed like 6 voice actors that are deceased, as well as the roles that each of them played, like Chris Latta, Scatman Crothers. I can't remember any of the others. Now, I believe in the redub of episode 1, Greg Berger, who voiced Grimlock on the original series, Grimlock isn't in these episodes, but I believe Greg Berger was Spike in the redub. I'm not sure if he also voiced Sparkplug or if someone else did. But yeah, anyway. So it was okay. It was an interesting experiment for that first episode. But then I'm glad that they just went and showed episodes 2 through 4 as they were. Now none of these episodes, I don't think you can say that they're exactly as they appeared in the 80s, because they probably just took it from the DVD release. And as far as I can tell, there are problems on the DVD release. Not only the original one from Kid Rhino, but the newer one from Shout Factory, where certain things aren't as they appeared back in the 80s, because apparently the original Kid Rhino set used work prints, like unfinished work prints of the episodes that were on film stock. And now they had no way of knowing that these were unfinished. They thought, oh, we found Transformers episodes on film. It's going to look better than ever. But they had a bunch of animation errors on them that had later been corrected once they were put on a videotape for broadcast. The broadcast masters, the animation, the coloring, and all of that stuff was corrected. So when Kid Rhino released the episodes on DVD back in early to mid 2000s, they were exposing these unfinished episodes to the whole country, which was never meant to be seen by the public. So there was a lot of upsetness in the fandom regarding that back in the day. Now, when Kid Rhino released the newer set, these are the DVDs that are currently available. Apparently, from what I read, they still had to use the work prints the same as Kid Rhino did, because supposedly the broadcast masters on videotape were too deteriorated and too poor condition to use, supposedly. Even though I think I read somewhere on like the Transformers wiki or something that certain episodes did use the broadcast masters. I don't know what's true and what's not, but apparently the closing credits had to be like retyped, I guess. And I'm saying I guess because the first 3 episodes, More Than Meets the Eye, apparently originally aired with a different closing credits animation than the rest of season 1. And I remember back when Shout Factory was preparing the DVD release, Brian Ward, who was the producer, was given a YouTube link to to the original closing credits sequence for More Than Meets the Eye. He's like, oh man, I wish I had seen this before we finalized the episode for DVD. Because apparently the DVD uses the same closing animation as the rest of season 1, whereas originally it had different closing animation. And I guess they retyped the closing credits, either retyped or just copied it straight from the Kid Rhino releases, because I noticed when comparing them that certain letters and stuff were positioned the same way. Like it was an obvious error on the Kid Rhino set. It was on the Kid Rhino set. It was duplicated on the Shout Factory set, or whatever. Also, on certain season 1 episodes, the voice cast is way longer than it's supposed to be. It's the season 2 voice cast, which these people were not present when season 1 was being recorded. So I have a feeling that for the DVD release, they had to recreate the closing credits sequence, possibly because if they were using work prints, then the theme songs might not have been on the work prints. And for some reason, on certain season 1 episodes, but not all of them, it has the season 2 credits typed out over the season 1 closing animation. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. If more knowledgeable Transformers fans watch this, please help me straighten this out. Now, I don't have a Transformers t-shirt, but I wore my gem shirt to the screening, which close enough. It's a part of the same Sunbow animated universe. And yes, that is a thing. Transformers, G.I. Joe, Gem, and Inhumanoids, and maybe one other series, but I'm not sure. Um, all exist in the same universe. How? Well, they don't really mention each other in their respective series or nothing, but there's a minor recurring character that pops up on all of those series. It's a reporter character named Hector Ramirez, um, kind of like a spoof of Geraldo Rivera. So he shows up on all of them. The Inhumanoids show up on a TV screen in a Gem episode. And in Transformers Season 3, which takes place in 2005 and 2006, there's an episode with an aged Cobra Commander. Also, Marissa Fairborn, a Season 3 character, is supposed to be the daughter of Flint and Lady J. So the connections aren't much, but yeah, they're there. It's all the same universe. And I guess you probably got to include the Deke continuation of G.I. Joe after G.I. Joe the movie. Sunbow stopped producing it and Deke started producing it instead. But it was a continuation, so I guess you got to count it. And what else was there? Wasn't there a like a direct VHS one episode special? I forget what it was called in the 90s. And then what about G.I. Joe Extreme? I think that was made by Sunbow as well, I think. Or maybe Deke or someone. I don't know. Is that the same universe? Who knows? But after all of that is the Transformers the movie in 2005, Transformers Season 3 in 05 and 06, and possibly early 07 for the return of Optimus Prime. And then Season 4, the Rebirth trilogy to close out the series. That's in 2007, I guess. And then what if you want to include what was that robotics or something? It was another Sunbow production from around that time, but it took place in the distant future. And there were like two warring alien factions. It might have been called Robotics with an X. I'm not sure. I forget. But might include that too. Who knows? But yeah, this is way off track now. So I just wanted to share all this with you, and it was a fun experience. So I had a good day. Oh yeah, this is my Transformers 40th anniversary cup that I got at the theater. I got a large Pepsi Icy, so that was cool. And yeah, so that's it. It's 8:51 p.m. and thanks for watching.